If you put a load balancer in front of your web apps on Azure, you eventually hit a fork in the road. Do you reach for Azure Application Gateway or Azure Front Door? Both speak HTTP, both terminate TLS, and both can run a web application firewall, a WAF, to block common attacks. But they live at different layers of your topology, and they cost and behave very differently. In the next 5 minutes, I'll explain what Application Gateway and its WAF actually do, where front door overlaps, and a crisp rule for which one to reach for. Prices and SKU details change, so confirm specifics in the current Azure docs. Application Gateway is a regional layer 7 load balancer that lives inside your virtual network. It terminates TLS, then routes requests to backend pools based on URL path or host header. So one public endpoint can send /API to one pool and /images to another. It does cookie-based session affinity, auto-scaling on the version 2 SKU, end-to-end TLS re-encryption, and health probes that pull unhealthy instances out of rotation. Because it sits inside your VNet, it can talk privately to backends like virtual machine scale sets, app service with private endpoints, or pods in Azure Kubernetes Service through the Application Gateway Ingress controller. The WAF is an optional tier on Application Gateway, and it's the same engine you'll see on Front Door. It runs managed rule sets, primarily the OWASP core rule set, to block SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and other common exploits. You can run it in detection mode to log without blocking while you tune, then flip to prevention mode. On top of managed rules, you add custom rules for things like geo-filtering, rate limiting, and IP allow or block lists, plus per rule exclusions to kill false positives. The key thing to remember, Application Gateway's WAF inspects traffic regionally right before it reaches your backend. Azure Front Door is the close alternative, and it's where people get confused. Front Door is a global service that runs at Microsoft's edge points of presence around the world. It does anycast routing, so users hit the nearest edge, plus content caching like a content delivery network, TLS termination at the edge, and latency-based or priority-based routing across regions. It also offers a WAF, but that WAF runs at the edge, far from your backend, blocking malicious traffic before it ever crosses a region boundary. The premium tier adds private link to your origins. In short, Front Door is global and internet-facing. Application Gateway is regional and VNet native. Here's the honest trade-off. Application Gateway wins when your traffic is regional, when backends must stay private inside a VNet, when you need fine-grained path-based routing to mixed backends, or when you're doing Kubernetes ingress. Front Door wins when you serve a global audience, when you want edge caching and anycast for latency, when you need failover across regions, or when you want to absorb and filter attacks at the edge before they touch your infrastructure. They're not mutually exclusive. A common pattern is Front Door at the global edge for caching and failover, fronting Application Gateway in each region for VNet internal routing. On cost, Application Gateway version 2 builds a fixed gateway hour plus capacity units that scale with connections, throughput, and compute. So you pay even when idle, and the WAF tier costs more than standard. Front Door builds more like a usage model, a base fee plus data transfer and requests, with the premium WAF tier priced higher than standard. Operationally, Application Gateway gives you tighter network control but more to manage: subnets, network security groups, certificates, and health probe tuning. Front Door is more hands-off but abstracts the network away from you. Always check the current pricing pages because SKU names and rates shift. Here's my rule of thumb. Draw your traffic map first. If users are global and you want them served from the nearest edge with caching and cross-region failover, start with Front Door. If your concern is routing traffic to private backends inside a single region's VNet with path-based rules and Kubernetes ingress, start with Application Gateway. If you have both needs, layer them: Front Door for global edge and WAF, Application Gateway for regional VNet routing. And don't double pay for two WAFs unless you genuinely want defense in depth at both the edge and the region. To recap, Application Gateway is a regional VNet-native Layer-7 load balancer with optional WAF, ideal for private backends and path-based routing. Front Door is a global edge service with caching, anycast, and an edge WAF, ideal for worldwide audiences and multi-region failover. The same WAF rule engine runs on both. The difference is where it inspects traffic. your one concrete action this week. Sketch where your users actually are and whether your backends must stay private. That single answer points you to the right service. And before you commit, validate SKU features and pricing in the current Azure docs, because these services evolve fast. If this helped, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.